In this video lab, we're going to do three basic things. We're going to take these beautiful routers and switches and we're going to give them names. We're also going to configure banner messages so when people connect to these devices to manage them, they get the message of the day, and we're also going to enable logging synchronous on line console 0. Let's take a look at our topology and then go right to the lab. So here's our task list for this lab. On each router and switch, and let's start there. We have the access layer switch in our lab topology. We have core 1 and core 2. So if you're sitting at a computer logged on to CBT Nuggets watching this video, go ahead and click on that link for virtual lab and bring it up and we can do this together side by side. So we've got these three devices, these three switches, and we have router 1, and there's also 2 more in the lab. And those are in preparation for a bigger topology, but they are router 2 and router 3 respectively. So our mission, should we choose to accept it, is we want to go to line console 0 on each of these 6 devices and enable synchronous logging. Secondly, we want to configure the host names on each router and switch. And then third, we want to set the message of the day banner, the MOTD banner, so that when people connect, like administrators, when they connect to those routers and switches, they see that message of the day banner. And so here we have a couple of great options. Number one is if you already know the commands of how to implement the host names and the message of the day and also the logging synchronous, pause me right here in the video and launch the virtual lab and get that hands-on practice to confirm that understanding. Fantastic. Now in the lab, as far as what you should name the devices, there's a tab for each of the 6 devices, 3 switches and 3 routers. And if you want to just use the name that's on the tab, like R1-AZ or R2-NV, you can use that, or any host name that you want to put in. That's fine, no problem whatsoever. And for the message of the day, you're welcome to put in whatever message of the day you'd like to put in. Also, as you're going through the lab, if you're doing something and you exit out or you log out of the console, to log back in, you can just log in as my favorite user, Bob. And no passwords required. It'll put you right back in privilege mode in this lab environment. The other option, which is also good, is that you could click on play and then I walk through the first piece and then you do the piece, hands on, and then hit play again. I'll do the next piece, you pause me, then you do the next piece. So you can step it through either way. We have 6 devices to configure, so there's lots of practice. So enjoy the hands-on lab, pause me here for a moment, and when you're ready to resume, hit play and we'll do the walkthrough together. All right, so here we go. We've got tabs for the access layer switch, core 1, core 2, router 1, router 2, and router 3. So I'm going to go ahead and start on the left here on the first tab for access 1. And if we're going to change the configuration, we need to go into configuration mode. So we'll type in config T to go into global config. And let's first of all set up the logging synchronous for line console 0. So to go to line configuration mode, we type in line console and we'll put in 0, press enter. And then we're in line configuration mode for line console 0. And here we'll type in logging. And here we'll type in logging space synchronous, and boom, it is done. And now when it brings up a log message like that one, it'll automatically repaint our current line that we're working on. That's fantastic. All right, in addition, we wanted to go ahead and configure the host names. So we'll go back into configuration mode. And for this one, I'm just going to use the same name that's on the tab here for this access layer switch. And to do that, we'll use the command host namespace, and we'll type in access 1, press enter, and the host name is now changed. So we configured logging synchronous, we configured the host name for this access layer switch, and the third thing was to set a banner. So let's go ahead and do that too. So we'll do a banner, do a question mark, and there's several different types of banners that we could use. And let's talk about banners for a moment. There's various types of banners we can use. The one we're going to use now is a message of the day banner, which basically means when we connect to the Cisco router to the CLI, we're going to see, before we log on, the message of the day banner. There's also other banners, including banners for a login. There's banners when an exec shell is brought up. So for now, let's go ahead and do a banner message of the day, and we'll do that with the banner space MOTD command. So we'll type in MOTD for message of the day, and then we can use a delimiting character to identify when we're done. So let's use a $, and when we press $, again, it'll know that we're done with the input. And so I'm going to add some asterisks here and say something like secure message, have a great day, sincerely Keith, or whatever you want to say based on what needs to be in your banner message you want everyone to see. You can even add contact information here if you wanted to, so that people who are connecting, if they had more questions, they could reach out. So I'm going to put in cbt.gg/Keith-Barker. And by the way, if you need to reach me, That's a great way to get a hold of me. Then I'll throw in some more asterisks. Fantastic. And then when I'm all done, I'll hit the $ right now and press enter. And that way it knows I'm done. And that's my banner message. So to test that, I'm going to type in exit, exit again to get all the way out. And I'm going to reconnect and log in as Bob. And boom, I'm now logged back in privilege mode. So we're doing the login as Bob just to help facilitate the labs. So as far as banners go, this is the message of the day banner that we just created. But other examples of banners which I pre-placed here on Access Layer Switch 1 was a login banner and also an exec banner, just to give you an idea that there's multiple potential banners that we could configure and implement for individuals who are connecting to and logging onto a switch. And also for the purpose of the lab, if you log in as Bob, it automatically places you in privilege mode for the purpose of being able to do anything that we demonstrate here in the labs. You can do also right here alongside with us. And you want to see something that feels really good? Check this out. We'll do a config T, type in exit, and when we type in exit and we get this log message, check it out. It automatically repainted our line for us. And that's because of logging synchronous is enabled. So we built this lab environment so you could practice 3 specific things: logging synchronous on line console 0, host names for the routers and switches, and also a message of the day banner. I also wanted to point out that in a production environment, if we make changes and we expect those changes to be there after the device reboots, we'd also want to save our configurations with a copy run start to make sure it's there in NVRAM for the next time we boot up. So in these labs, however, there's no need and not even the ability to do a copy run start. But I did want to give an honorable mention that in a production environment, if you want to save your work and have it there after the device reboots, you'd want to do it. Okay, now for the next part of this lab is we've got 5, I had to count, 5 more devices. We have Core 1, Core 2, Router 1, Router 2, and Router 3 that all need that same treatment. So have some fun with those other 5 as well, with host names, logging synchronous on line console 0, and also a banner message on each of those devices to give you lots of hands-on practice. And as we continue to practice and get more hands-on, we're going to get more and more comfortable with both the navigation and configuration of a Cisco device. So have some fun with the labs, and I'll see you, my friend, in the very next video. Meanwhile, I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.